basically what I wanted to do is just kind of go through issue 3. We'll just go through it really quick, but just talk a little bit about kind of the progression of it, what we liked about it, what could have been improved. Some of the comments that I got from readers and stuff have kind of opened my eyes to things that I didn't really realize. Really great feedback, like everyone that I've spoken to or people that I've interacted with on the website have really enjoyed it. Like they just feel like the action scenes are really. I remember one comment someone said like, I was really excited throughout all the action pages, and it's like I don't normally get excited in like comic books.
That was a couple of days, like a couple pages back, like in towards the end.
Yeah,
that was good.
A lot of the stuff with Dean and Scaper at the end, it was just such a huge build-up, and it was really, I think we delivered what they were looking for. A lot of twists and turns people weren't expecting, which I really liked.
Yeah.
And one of the major things I think from this comic was Tyler. I did not expect Tyler's reaction whatsoever. I think
could have been an issue all to itself. Like we spent that much time.
which is what we're going to talk about a little bit
Yeah.
later as well. That you don't get to know about it just yet.
No.
The main thing is too is that I feel the issue fit really well with the progression of from issue 2, all the kind of the themes and things that we were kind of working with. But basically we'll just run through it real quick. So off we go.
Tab page.
Yep. So basically a little bit of, again, always starting in a place of calm in the beginning of every issue, which we're going to kind of flip a little bit in issue 4, which I still think is it's a place of rest, but it's not always calm. Although issue 2 we did that.
It's not even, well, it's calm, yeah.
Well, it's the idea. Every issue, it's always been kind of someone's in like sleeping or some kind of place of calm.
Laid up.
Yeah. Well, usually laid up in the
hospital.
hospital or prison. So that's kind of our thing. So all right, so we started off pretty straightforward with Caleb North. Finally, we realized that Caleb knows North, and there's some kind of
wonderful relationship.
Something going on there, which I think was really cool. People caught it at the end of issue 2 when he said, you never listened, do you?
Yeah.
And it was one of those moments where people were like, oh, wait a minute. They're like kind of working together. It didn't make any sense. And so we get a little bit more into kind of the backstory of the actual department, not really, liking where North is kind of going with his particular plan.
The wordy pages.
Which is actually one of the comments that I got was this issue was too wordy.
Yeah.
And I do.
It's at the start.
And
I think
it's
we had it towards the end.
no. But a lot of the other pages, I'm starting to realize the difference between a comic book and kind of a really long, like graphic novel, but just a long. Because I remember when I was reading, I think it was like Anita Blake series. Every time I got to a page where it was just like a huge word balloon with a lot of text, I was like, man, I just wanted to like shoot something. Like I don't really want to read all this text. I know I need to.
TLDR.
Yeah. This is the
It's the real
inspiration for
capo.
Capo.
Big capo.
This is Neo. I don't even think the camera's catching it, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, yeah, wordy, too wordy for some readers, which is cool because I think you guys can help curb me back a little bit, and because Cam will be doing a little bit more of the writing duties, I think it'll be interesting to see. I think with a comic, the idea is to kind of get to the point, get your points across. But with Kira's page, I remember I really had so many things I wanted to say where I could have pulled out 4 of those things and it still would have come across as she feels this
Every
way.
time I think of like the wordy cut down, I think of that page in the first issue that we like really cut
Which
down.
was awesome. Yeah.
And it totally changed the page from being this slow explanation to just bam, 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 bam.
Because when I first wrote it, I think, again, not really knowing what the hell I was doing, but when I first wrote it, I had that kind of idea of like Marv from Sin City in my head, talking about the construction of things, and I thought, I had this deep voice in my head, and I was like, oh, it sounds so cool. And then when you saw it on the page, all the art was gone, and it was nothing but panels of words and stuff.
Go back a page.
No, let's go forward a page.
No,
This
that's
is maybe
fine.
5 minutes, so
Yeah,
point taken.
Yeah.
Too much too many words into
But
too
too
much talking?
But
Yes, there you go.
These ones here kind of cut it up too
Yeah.
much.
It was, and again, Esk does really great writing, and I think his writing actually delves into characters, and there's a lot of really great character development. And so in these first couple pages, Esk kind of put a lot of character development into, because you don't know Commissioner Nichols whatsoever throughout the entire series. So we're adding a new character in, but we're saying, okay, this is who this guy is, and we got to put a little bit more than just kind of like, Lane North is crazy.
You don't.
next
You
page.
don't have to. But anyway, we'll move
But,
on.
but it's what you said in issue 1. It's just if you can explain it in kind of a few little lines, and you've done some of that. You've taken some of my pages, and you're like, yeah, you don't need any of this, because I just talk a lot.
Well, one piece, like, is my main inspiration.
Yeah.
They can tell they can tell
Neo,
they can tell a
watching
massive
you,
story
kid.
in like 3 or 4 pages.
So I mean, these types of things. I mean, yeah, it's really great. There's a lot of really good quips
works
in
in a
there.
page like that.
It does, but a lot of it with Kira and stuff. When Kira's in the hospital with Dan, that's a huge couple of pages with a lot of stuff. But to me, I read it and I'm like, man, this is what a comic book is supposed to be.
Mhm.
But I think in issue 4 we can cut things down. Just basic.
It can't please everyone.
No, we're sorry about that, by the way. We'll give you more violence though. We've got more planned.
You get what you pay for.
This page here is kind of interesting because I'll come back to this, but this image here of Dan on the motorcycle with this nice day out and stuff like that. There's something about issue 4 which I really love the idea that you came up with, and some of the stuff that I'll talk about in the next couple of things. So a lot of the stuff Shin wrote this page, which I thought was great. It was such a great introduction to Kira for the first time interacting with Dan, other than at the hospital, but this whole thing with him trying to, just try to be cool with her and stuff like that. Because I think he's got a.
But he's a bit of a turd.
Yeah, it is terrible. It
doesn't really work.
not very good at all. These pages, again, we all know kind of where this kind of headed, but I love the way these pages came out. I was very happy with the way that we solved this problem, because I think the interaction with Dan and Brian was awesome. It was such a fatherly, it was such a father-son. The son screws up, father puts him in his place, and that was exactly what I wanted. Because everyone was like, oh, maybe Brian will be the cool sidekick and help him with his stuff. Which is what you expect in a comic. I think we kind of like to flip that around a little bit. We say,
Okay, they haven't learned by now. We
we don't do
a
anything.
normal comic.
No, that's alright. This was great. Really happy with the way this came out, and then the blood symbol kind of symbolizing.
He looked pissed.
Yeah.
I like this one in the bottom corner.
Yeah.
The interesting
Brian
thing,
smash!
I am mad and I'm disappointed.
the interesting thing is when I drew Brian and everything, and Brian's character, when you create a character and then you have an idea in your head who would play it if it was ever in a movie or something. I don't know if you've ever seen that show, Flash Forward.
I think I've seen like an episode.
But there's a guy that's like his sobriety, somebody who's helping him with his sobriety, and he has this beard and everything. He just has this accent and everything, and he just has this demeanor about him where it's like if you screwed up and you were his friend, he would put you in his place, and I just something about
Brian T.
Sobriety.
Brian.
Nice.
Forget it.
Are you writing? Are you sure?
Sure. Shut up.
These pages, from what I've heard in a lot of comments, are people's favorite pages.
I think it was the art in a lot of this page that
Absolutely
kind of
was.
drew people in.
Well, I like
The whole
to,
like scape symbol in the background.
and I like to play with the idea of colored moods, and I think Kira